Salam.
Thank you very much.
Sir, my name is Usman Javed Sipra. I belong from Mandi Bawaddin. I'm an elder of two brothers, and I gained my initial education in Islamabad. Then I completed my bachelor's from Lahore University of Management Sciences in Economics and Political Science. I am currently doing a master's in FinTech Risk and Investment from University of Sussex. I have done internships at Center Economic Business in Lahore, and I've also worked with University College Berkeley in improving the productivity in the textile sector of Pakistan. And I currently aspire to become a civil service officer, and this is my been ambitious for the past academic life.
So, Usman, you want to join Pakistan Administrative Services?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell us something about Pakistan. What do you know? You need to introduce Pakistan to all of us.
Sir, Pakistan is a country of 240 million and is located as a very geopolitically important location. Pakistan is endowed with an enormous amount of natural resources and has been one of the very well-performing economies in its past history. Pakistan is endowed with a lot of mineral and natural resources and has enjoyed important relations with a lot of countries such as China and the United States.
What is the population of Pakistan?
Sir, 241 million.
What is the area of population? What is the area of Pakistan?
Sir, 736,000 square kilometers.
What are the fundamental rights in Pakistan? Identify the 3-4.
Sir, Pakistan, everyone's free to practice their religion. Everyone has a freedom of expression. Everyone has a right to life, right to property.
Now listen to me carefully. There is artificial intelligence.
Yes, sir.
This is a current new phenomenon. And there is a call for legal framework of artificial intelligence. There is a call. Okay? What are the objectives of this call? Why they are demanding this legal framework?
Sir, they're demanding a legal framework because this is a new thing that is coming into the economic activity, and there should be a framework so that the main populace and the other populace is not exploited. There should be a framework, there should be regulations so that there is some sort of checks and balances on the new players that are bringing this artificial intelligence into the economic sphere and other spheres of human activity. So a proper framework and a proper regulatory system will allow it to be allow it to grow in a more justly redistributive way, and a way which does not harm, which a growth which is distributed equally and which does not bring more harm than benefit to the human society.
What is the rule-based international system and what does it promote?
Rule-based international system is that other countries do not invade other countries, do not interfere in their internal activities, do not interfere in their territorial boundaries that has been established, or do not interfere in their domestic matters per se. So the international system is based on these basic principles of non-interference and economic sovereignty and political sovereignty of a nation that has been granted to a nation since its inception. So this international based system allows the countries to these countries to devise their political, economic, social policies in a way that can benefit them, and no one has to impose such policies on another country. So this international regulatory framework is devised in the United Nations Charter as well.
Now you tell me, now to resolve this Hamas and Israel conflict, will you like to support two country solution or one country solution?
Sir, I would...
Or you can argue for both, give pros and cons for both?
Sir, I'm personally in favor of a two-state solution because it is morally, ethically, legally correct, because it was the Palestinian land that has been occupied by the Israeli forces, which is unjust, and it defies the international rule-based system, as you just mentioned. They are defying every human law that has been established in war, and are killing mercilessly women and children. The current casualties are 15,000, and they are promoting it as a self-defense, but by no means the world is looking at that in such a way. Uh, so a two-state solution, if I can give a pro for that, is that there can be stability in the region. The Palestinian can establish their own state in which they can govern themselves and live peacefully, while the Israel can live separately and
Now,
can.
you just see the whole scenario. Now, what the Israelis is trying to do, if they want to capture Gaza, if they want to capture West Bank, for what they are going? They are going for what?
So they're going for complete dominance over the region.
They are
and
going for one state
solution.
solution.
Yes, sir.
And what they should do? Why it is not acceptable to the Arabs? Rather, Arabs are in favor of this one state solution.
So the Arabs are in favor of one state solution because their economic ties have deepened over the past decade with Israel. A narrative which was not in such a way in the past wars that we've seen. Their economic integration and their de-risking strategy of Saudi Arabia is supporting one state solution because it is in their national self-interest. And there has a lot of national interest-based policies have been on the global in the global arena rather than moral or ethics have taken a backseat in the new times.
You tell me, what are the fundamentals of Pakistan foreign policy towards India and India's foreign policy towards Pakistan?
Pakistan's fundamental foreign policy objectives have always been friendship. They've always tried to promote friendly relationships toward India. They've always tried to maintain the border security that has been established in Pakistan, has not violated or tried to impose by any means interfere in their internal affairs. While India's foreign policy objectives have been very malicious and very nefarious towards Pakistan, they have always been trying to sabotage Pakistan's economic, political development. They have been trying to malign Pakistan's image internationally, and Pakistan has always been in a reactive mode in terms of trying to respond to the malicious activities that have been designed by India.
Thank you. Absolutely.
There is talk of global north and global south. You know?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Why it is so?
So the talks of global south are on the rise because the developing world has not been able to develop as it was supposed to. The developing world is struggling, and the developed world has capitalized on the developing world. This is why the global south is uniting in terms of climate change, in terms of climate justice, to get the reparations that the global south deserves, is trying to amend the rules of the game and to bring that change, the global south has to unite itself. When it will unite itself, it will be able to portray its point of view in a more dominant way in the international arena. Sir.
It is, you see, it is very commonly said that there are different stakeholders in the country. And,
yes, sir.
And they all have to be taken on board. So what does that mean?
Sir, in a country, there are always different stakeholders, like there might be industrialists, there might be the political landscape, there might be the defense landscape, there might be the bureaucratic landscape, there might be the civilian populace, there the public opinion of the civilian populace. So all of these are stakeholders in policy making, in foreign policy. These stakeholders have to be taken into consideration when one is formulating or devising any policy towards a country or for a nation itself. And whenever one is devising a policy, there should be more beneficiaries than there are those who are suffering. So while balancing these stakeholders, one should find the right balance in which most stakeholders are benefiting rather than suffering. So these are the stakeholders that I think are present in the nation.
Which sectors contribute towards the GDP?
So Pakistan's agricultural sector, industrial sector, and most importantly, the services sector.
How much they are doing?
So Pakistan's industrial sector contributes 19% to the GDP. Pakistan's agricultural sector has contributed 22% of the GDP. I'm sorry for the slip. Industrial sector has contributed 19% to the GDP, and the services sector has contributed 58% of the GDP.
How much?
58%, sir, in the last economic year.
What growth model or development model will you propose for the way forward of the country?
So Pakistan should focus more on Keynesian sort of economics, in which the government takes an important role in the investment in the right sectors. Pakistan has, under the conditions of the IMF, Pakistan has been trying to build its economy through freeness of the market, and the market will find the equilibrium itself. I would personally, a Keynesian sort of model proposes government intervention, proposes a national investment plan in which Pakistan, after a few years, once Pakistan's economy gains a bit of traction, Pakistan should invest in the right areas. Pakistan should invest in its education, in its improving its security condition, its health structure, so that the human capital in Pakistan evolves with its economic development. I think that is the only way forward for Pakistan in the current scenario, sir.
You want to join police service of Pakistan. Why?
Sir, I've always admired towards the police, and it's always been an aspiration. And I think that I can bring valuable
What
change.
has made you admire the police?
Sir, if you don't mind, can you repeat the question?
Why you admire the police? What has made you to admire police?
Sir, I have admired the police because I think that they are in a position to bring a lot of change. I believe that they are in a position to disperse justice. And I believe that that is why I've always admired, because a lot of change can be brought about in an individual society in promoting justice through those positions. So, and my personal aim in a life has also been to enact a positive change towards the society in whatever capacity I can. And I believe that the police service, or the Pakistan Administrative Service for that matter, gives the platform to promote that positive change, or a change that makes me also feel good about myself, sir.
Welcome to CSPs Academy for CSS PMS preparation. CSS PMS तहरीरी इम्तिहान के तमाम मज़ामीन की ऑनलाइन और ऑन कैंपस तैयारी के साथ साथ सब्जेक्ट सिलेक्शन, असाइनमेंट चेकिंग, क्लास टेस्ट, मॉक एग्जाम, इंडिविजुअल टीचर डिस्कशन और फीडबैक सेशन का इनकाद किया जाएगा। इसके अलावा FPSC की तजवीज़ करदा बुक्स से बने मयारी नोट्स और CSP पब्लिशर की बेहतरीन बुक्स मुहैया की जाएंगी।
Usman, what were the major three flaws in 1956 Constitution of Pakistan?
Sir, I'm sorry, but I cannot recall the exact clause.
What were the demand of Khilafat movement other than the restoration of Khilafat in Ottoman Empire?
Sir, I cannot remember this.
What is the difference between provincial and federal tax?
Sir, the provincial tax is collected by the provincial governments, while the federal tax is collected by the federal government. And there is a difference in taxes with the federal and the provincial governments collect.
Would you like to tell me the few name of provincial taxes?
Sir, I would be guessing, so I would rather not.
What are the sources of revenue in Islam?
Sources of revenue in Islam? Sir, zakat is one of the major sources of revenue in Islam. Khums is also considered to be a source of revenue in Islam. Jizya is also considered to be a revenue in Islam. So that is the sources of revenue that I can.
What was the impact of conquest of Makkah in coming history of Islam?
So conquest of Makkah was a very important event and was a very significant event. And expanded significantly after that because the Quraysh tribe, which was one of the dominant tribes in the region, Arabian Peninsula, was defeated, and this also led to a lot of conversion. And the way that conquest of Makkah took place was also very admired, and also led to a lot of conversions even outside Makkah. So
What was the reason that Ottoman, they have shifted their capital from Medina to Damascus?
I do not.
My last
know.
question is that what are the impacts of American War of Freedom and French Revolution?
American War of Freedom on French Revolution had significant impacts on the French because the French, in their attempt to defeat the British, allotted a lot of their capital to the Americans in that fight, and because of this, there was financial misery in France, due to which the French Revolution it was one of the causes due to which the French Revolution took place. Secondly, the soldiers that the French sent to the Americas also brought the ideas of equal representation and taxation, which were not seen back in their society. So they wanted to introduce similar sort of concepts in a Bourbon dynasty. So these ideas that were brought about by the American War of Independence were actually culminated into the French Revolution as well, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. When a dynastic rule began in Islam?
Dynasty rule began in Islam, sir. I believe that Amir Muawiyah's consideration can be considered.
Dynasty he began.
Umayyad dynasty, sir.
Okay, can you differentiate between Puritans and Calvinists?
No, sir, I cannot.
You've been in England?
Yes, sir.
There happened a revolution in 1688. What is called that revolution?
Sir, there's a glorious revolution that...
Why it is called glorious revolution?
Sir, I don't have it.
What is the difference between glorious revolution and the French Revolution?
Sir, the glorious revolution was much of a political nature.
Why it is called as a bloodless revolution?
As a bloodless?
Bloodless revolution.
Because I think a lot of less...
Was there bloodshed at that
a lot
time?
of less bloodshed
What
took place.
major
than
change happened after the glorious revolution?
So there were more constitutional reforms, and the power of the monarchy were reduced as much as I can remember.
तो same चीज जो फ्रांस में क्यों नहीं हो सकी?
Sir,
and same thing when people try to happen in France, there happened a bloodshed.
because sir, the ancient regime was a lot stronger in France and was a lot opposed to change. The divine right of kings and
can you tell me that significant impact of French Revolution on Britain?
Sir, as France is located right next to Britain, these a lot of the philosophers and a lot of the writers.
No, it is stated that the French Revolution's impact were global, but French Revolution's impact on Britain were very minor.
The French
Is it true?
Revolution's impact on Britain.
Were very minor in
Sir, I
nature.
don't agree. I don't agree with this. I would like to disagree because
Okay, then tell political impact of French Revolution in Britain.
Sir, political. I think that there was a global demand of more liberty, equality, and justice and fraternity,
That
which was
existed in Britain, already existed.
of course. But sir, when there is a general, a new voice and a new change being brought about in Europe, which is also influences Britain's political sphere as Britain influences
Okay,
European
in one
political
word,
sphere.
tell the spirit of Age of Enlightenment.
In one word, sir.
In one word,
Reason, sir.
reason. Good. Okay, what is the relation between Concert of Europe and League of Nations?
Firstly, sir, Concert of Europe considered there were very few political powers, while League of Nations was a more international sort of an organization, and a lot of more powers were
What relation
nations.
you see between these two things?
Sir, both were organizations or of a culmination of different nations. Did you, sir, ask about the differences or the similarities?
Similarities.
Similarities, sir, both were trying to control the political and the both were trying to control international affairs of the country.
Tell similarities between Nazism and fascism?
So both relied on ideologies that tried to cater toward the populace and tried to promote their own communities as superior to others. Both were trying to capitalize on the economic misery and how they would change that.
What is the आपने अभी केनेजियन इकोनॉमिक्स की बात की, इस मॉडल ने ब्रिटेन को क्या फायदा दिया?
Sir, during the time of recession, the classical economists do not believe in government interference in economic activity.
तो रिसेशन में तो
And-
कोलैप्स कर गए थे वो.
Because they were following classical economists and the governments were not interfering in the economic activities.
In
However-
which economic activities government not interfering?
Government were not interfering in any public goods. They were not investing in the public infrastructure, and they wanted to reduce their government spending even in times of recession, which exacerbated the impacts of recession.
Okay.
However, Keynesian
Okay, can you tell me the advantage of Lucknow Pact to All India Muslim League?
separate electorates were agreed upon by both parties for the Muslims in the Lucknow Pact.
Okay. इसकी क्या significance थी इसी एस्पेक्ट के जो अभी आपने बताया?
The Muslim League was also recognized as a force that was to be
Recognized.
considered with, recognized
Okay.
acknowledgement, and they were also the separate electorates were also a major step, and there was also a movement of
Disadvantage क्या था
collaboration.
Lucknow Pact का, All India Muslim League का?
So I don't know about the disadvantage regarding.
What is the
Lucknow Pact.
major cause behind the failure of Wavell Plan?
So I don't recall.
My last question. In Constitution of Pakistan, there is principles of directive states policy. From which constitution framers or the makers of Constitution of Pakistan borrowed this idea?
I do not have.
Thank
any
you.
idea.
Let's conclude it. Let's have an informal discussion.
Yes, sir, please.
ठीक है, पहले सेल्फ असेसमेंट करो. 10 में से कितने नंबर दोगे अपने आप को?
Sir, 4, 5, sir.
अच्छा देखो उस्मान, दिस इज अ इवेंट ऑफ लाइफ.
जी sir.
ठीक है ना? There are good things and there are certain advices which I need. We want to give
forward,
it to. Otherwise, you have got a good personality, communication skill तुम्हारा ठीक है. You are intelligent, confident हो. ठीक है, नॉलेज लेवल गैप्स आते हैं एंड पोस्चर आपका ठीक है, वॉइस का इम्पैक्ट ठीक आता है. ठीक है, यू बट यू आर नॉट इन ए स्टेट ऑफ प्रिपेयर्डनेस. हालात जंग में नहीं आए तुम. दिस इज अ चैलेंज बिफोर यू. दिस इज अ लाइफ लॉन्ग, जिंदगी में एक चैलेंज होता ही है. यू नीड टू बी सीरियस बिकॉज देयर इज अ हेल ऑफ ए कॉम्पिटिशन इन पंजाब. तो
बिल्कुल,
पंजाब में जो है ना, आप कंपटीशन को फोकस करें बिकॉज यू इफ यू वांट टू मेक टू द सिलेक्शन, वहाँ तो फिर कंपटीशन भी टाइट है ना. तो यू नीड टू इम्प्रूव योर नॉलेज. इसके लिए यू नीड टू फोकस ऑन न्यूज़पेपर. आजकल न्यूज़पेपर पे सारा फोकस करें. पिछले 3 महीने के न्यूज़पेपर रिव्यू करें. नोट बुक बनाई होगी इंटरव्यू पे,
जी सर.
तो उसमें पॉइंट वाइज अपने आप को फोकस करो. हर टॉपिक पे पॉइंट हो आपका.
सही.
ठीक है, 1 2 3 4 पॉइंट ऐसे न्यू पैसेज उसे नोटबुक लेके हर टाइप पे जैसे पावर पॉइंट बनाते हो ना, उसी
जी,
तरह 1 2 3 4 पॉइंट. तो उनको रिहर्सल करते रहो.
ठीक हो गया सर.
ठीक है ना, वो डेली बेसिस पे रिहर्सल करो. अभी कब है इंटरव्यू आपका?
सर मेरा सेकंड फेज में है.
बस ठीक है, यू हैव
इस्लामाबाद.
लकी, यू हैव गॉट टाइम.
जी
थोड़ा
सर.
सा अपने आप को फोकस करो. कीप इट अप. जो कुछ कर रहे हो ठीक हो, तुम्हारा पोटेंशियल बहुत स्ट्रांग है. लेकिन ये है कि तुम्हारा कंपटीशन भी, अगर तुम कहो ना, मैं कहता हूँ सिंध से होते तुम हो जाते.
जी
अगर तुम सिंध से होते,
जी जी
सिंध के कोटे में तो हो जाते,
जी जी सर.
लेकिन पंजाब कोटा इज टफ.
बेशक सर.
ठीक है ना, यू नीड टू वर्क हार्ड. आपसे
आप में पोटेंशियल है, यू हैव द पोटेंशियल, यू कैन गेट मोर मार्क्स. इससे भी ज़्यादा आप ले सकते हैं, लेकिन उसके लिए फिर यू हैव टू बी इन प्रॉपर फ्रेम ऑफ माइंड. और जैसे आपको बताया,
नहीं
आप
सर,
जो-
अभी मैंने अभी आया हूँ बिकॉज मैं यूके में था, तो आई जस्ट रीच्ड अ फ्यू डेज अगो.
ड्रेस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. ठीक है.
अच्छा उस्मान, कब वापस आए आप?
फिर संडे, लास्ट संडे आई थिंक सर.
चलें यार, आप में बड़ा पोटेंशियल है, लेकिन आपको ना बेसिक इंफॉर्मेशंस पे बहुत ज़्यादा काम करना है. पाकिस्तान अफेयर पे बहुत काम करो, इस्लामिक स्टडीज़ पे बहुत काम करो. देखो यार, आपका इकोनॉमिक सब्जेक्ट है और आपको फेडरल और प्रोविंशियल टैक्सेस का पता होना चाहिए। अब एक्साइज टैक्स जो है, प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स जो है, ये प्रोविंसेस टैक्स हैं। इनकम टैक्स जो है, आपका सक्सेस पे जो टैक्स है वो FBR कलेक्ट करता है। आपके इदारों को भी पता होना चाहिए। देन एक बड़ी अच्छी किताब है ट्रैक टू पाकिस्तान,
जी
प्री पार्टीशन पे, 1857 से 1947 पे, उसको पढ़ लो। देन जो इस्लामिक स्टडीज़ की जो हिस्ट्री है ना, क्रोनोलॉजिकल हिस्ट्री, वो पढ़ लो, इवेंट्स देख लो, और मेजर दो दो तीन तीन चीज़ों को आपको पता होना चाहिए। आप कोशिश करो तो आप बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स ले सकते हो, थोड़ी सी एफर्ट करो। अभी तो आपका तो फैब में होगा ना इंटरव्यू, इस्लामाबाद सेकंड फेज में है ना, ये फैब में होगा।
फैब स्टार्ट में होगा सर या फैब?
शायद जनवरी के एंड या फैब के शुरू में।
अच्छा अच्छा सर,
बड़ा टाइम है आपके पास सर।
थैंक यू सर। आपका पोटेंशियल जितना है उतना आप अच्छा आंसर आपने नहीं किए।
जी सर, बस
इनको थोड़ा सा, जब आप ना इन चीज़ों को डिस्कशंस करें, अपने आप के साथ डिस्कशन करने, खुद क्वेश्चंस बनाए, आंसर्स करें। आपने यूरोपियन हिस्ट्री पढ़ी है तो फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन के जो इम्पैक्ट हैं, तो उन चीज़ों को देखें कि अब देखिए उसके सोशल इम्पैक्ट तो बहुत हो सकते हैं ब्रिटेन पे। पॉलिटिकल इसलिए हो सके, ब्रिटेन ने वो सब कुछ पहले ही कर दिया हुआ था।
बिल्कुल
ठीक है, उन्होंने सब कुछ तो पार्लियामेंट के पास था। पार्लियामेंट में कौन है? पीपल, लोगों के नुमाइंदे थे। तो वो पावर तो डिसेंट्रलाइज हो गई थी। उनके जो मोनार्क्स के पास तो वो एब्सोल्यूट पावर्स ही नहीं थी। रेस्ट ऑफ द यूरोप को, रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड को, हाँ, एक इम्पैक्ट और जो फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन ने कर दिया, वो जो नेशनलिज्म के जो सीड्स थे वो हर तरफ बो दिए थे। ठीक है, उसको कंपेयर करना सीखें थोड़ा सा। ठीक है, और अभी सर ने भी बताया कि पाकिस्तान अफेयर्स तो बड़ा ग्रे एरिया है आपका।
जी जी।
अब वो थोड़ा सा एंशिएंट इंडिया से भी चीज़ें पूछ लेते हैं। लेट्स से अगर आपसे मैं पूछता कि अकबर और जहांगीर की पॉलिसीज में क्या फ़र्क है, आप कैसे डिफाइन करते हैं? नहीं कर पाते। तो मुझे अंदाज़ा हो गया कि आपको वो वाला एरिया बहुत वीक है। ठीक है, तो उस एरिया को भी सर ने बताया कि उसमें एम्पिरिकल एविडेंस बहुत, एम्पिरिकल डेटा बहुत ज़्यादा ट्रैक टू पाकिस्तान में।
ठीक है,
We'll try hard.
चलो बेस्ट ऑफ लक।
Thank you so much, sir.